My parents choose their new families over me. So I moved in with my aunt. Now they want back in, but I hate them. Hey, so I'm a 16-year-old girl, and when I was 15, I had to go live with my aunt. This all happened because my parents got new partners and started new families. My dad got together with the woman he was seeing while still married to my mom, and she already had a son from before. Now, they also have a baby girl together. On the other side, my mom married my stepdad, and they have my half-sister now. After all this mixing and matching of families, it kind of felt like I was just an extra piece in their new lives. They seemed pretty eager to send me off to stay with the other family, almost like they wanted to forget I was around so they could get on with their happy new family vibes without me. I got really tired of feeling like I was just in the way, so I started spending a lot of nights at friends' places. And whenever I was at either my mom's or dad's house, I just kept to myself and didn't really talk to anyone. So after I started spending more time away from home and keeping to myself, my parents thought I was just going through some rebellious teen phase. They'd always argue with me. I wasn't causing any trouble or being a bad kid, but somehow I ended up being seen as the problem child in the family. Every time I talked to my parents, it turned into them lecturing me about how I have an attitude problem and how the other kids are so much better behaved. I was so over it that I just packed my bags and left for a few days without telling anyone where I was going. I hopped on a bus and came back home after 4 days. Obviously, my parents freaked out and even called the police since I disappeared. When I showed up again, I walked right into yet another lecture. Things got really heated, and we ended up yelling at each other. They called me a disappointment, and I told them I hated them. I was so upset that I called my aunt, crying my eyes out, and she came to pick me up right away. On the phone, I could hear her giving my parents a piece of her mind for the way they were treating me. After I moved in with my aunt, neither of my parents really tried to get me to come back home. We made it official and told the people who needed to know, so now my aunt is legally in charge of me. My parents were pretty hit or miss with staying in touch. They would pop up now and then, sometimes giving me some money, but it felt like they only showed up when it was easy for them. They've started trying to reach out more lately, but honestly, I'm just not interested. I won a story writing contest not too long ago, and I kept it to myself. I didn't tell my parents or invite them to the little celebration that was held for it. The story is up online for people to read, and in it, I made sure to thank my aunt for always being there for me, for her unconditional love. I didn't invite my parents to my 16th birthday party either. It's like I've just cut them out of my life completely. I'm not interested in what's going on with them, their new families, or anything related to them. My mom tried to meet up for my birthday, but it didn't happen. When my mom reached out to me, overwhelmed with emotion and crying on the phone, I found myself completely detached from the situation. It was as if I was merely an observer, watching a dramatic scene unfold on a television show. This emotional display, meant to pull at my heartstrings, left me unaffected. It was a stark realization that the emotional bond that once tethered me to my mother had frayed beyond repair. She, who played such a significant role in my life's narrative, had become a distant figure, no longer central to my emotional well-being or daily thoughts. Similarly, when my dad expressed his concerns over the phone, his words were intended to bridge the chasm that had widened between us. He voiced worries about my well-being and my seemingly cold detachment as indicators of an unhealthy state of mind. Yet his concern, though perhaps genuine, echoed hollowly in my ears. The emotional disconnect was so profound that his words failed to stir any sense of urgency or distress within me. It underscored a poignant truth. My aunt had unequivocally taken on the role of my sole guardian, not just in legal terms, but in every aspect that mattered. My aunt, a beacon of unwavering support and understanding, has always advocated for reconciliation with my parents. She believes in the healing power of mending fractured relationships, but also respects my autonomy, never coercing me into interactions I'm not ready for. Her approach is grounded in empathy and patience, allowing me the space to navigate my feelings and decisions at my own pace. The attempt at reconciliation took a dramatic turn when, unexpectedly, my parents intervened in my daily routine, pulling me from the familiar environment of school to confront the emotional turmoil that had been simmering beneath the surface. We met at a restaurant that held memories of happier times, a place that once symbolized familial unity and love. The emotional weight of the moment was palpable, with my mother's tears and my father's pained expression serving as silent testaments to their regret and desire for atonement. They extended heartfelt apologies, laying bare their vulnerabilities in an effort to bridge the emotional gulf that had widened between us. They pleaded for a chance to rectify past mistakes, to rebuild the familial bonds that had been so carelessly frayed. Yet, despite the gravity of the moment and the sincerity of their pleas, my response was resolute. The journey I had embarked on with my aunt had provided me with a newfound sense of stability and understanding, a sanctuary from the turmoil that once defined my relationship with my parents. In that moment of reconciliation, I found the strength to assert my need for independence from the past and the emotional cycles that had once ensnared me. As I walked away, a mix of emotions churned within me. There was a sense of closure, perhaps, but also a profound acknowledgement of the complex tapestry of relationships and the intricate dance between forgiveness, healing, and self-preservation. My aunt's influence, marked by her unwavering support and unconditional love, had empowered me to choose a path forward that prioritized my emotional well-being and personal growth. Feeling resentful because I feel like my parents chose a new life over me isn't petty. It's a natural response to what I've been through. It's incredibly hard feeling like I'm on the outside looking in on my own family, especially when it seems like they're intentionally building a life that doesn't include me. That sensation of being unwanted, as though I'm an imposition rather than a cherished family member, cuts deep. It's as if I'm a guest who has overstayed their welcome, except the place I'm overstaying is supposed to be my home. I've lived with this constant feeling of tension, like I'm always walking on eggshells, trying not to cause trouble or be any more of a burden than I feel I already am. It's like when you're at a friend's house where you can tell their parents don't particularly like you, and there's this underlying stress that you just shouldn't be there. That's the feeling I constantly had at their houses. I know my stepfather doesn't really like me. My parents would argue over who had to keep me, but not in the way that anyone might want. It wasn't, I want to have her longer, but more like, I took her last weekend, it's your turn now. And then, adding salt to the wound, they'd plan fun activities for the day after I left. My father and his wife would often schedule visits to parks or plan bigger trips for the weeks I was with my mom, as if to emphasize my absence. My mom and her husband pretty much took every opportunity to leave me behind while they went out with the baby. It was like I was just an extra, easily shuffled off to grandma's or my aunt's with any excuse they could think of, just so they could do family stuff without me. Walking through our house, you'd barely find any photos of me. There were big portraits of my siblings, pictures of them together, but when it came to me, almost nothing. One summer, they sent me off to my grandparents for the entire break and only bothered to call twice. Family gatherings? I'd often find out about them after the fact, like the time my dad had a big family barbecue and didn't even invite me. Birthdays weren't much different. They've forgotten mine more than once, and on the off chance they remembered, I got something like a $10 Starbucks gift card, even though they know I don't even like Starbucks. So, no, they never outright said they wanted me out of the picture, but through their actions, they didn't exactly hide it either. Now for the top advice. Your aunt is the real MVP in terms of forgiving your parents. It's a decision wholly to yourself with your aunt's advice. Trust her advice more than the decisions of strangers on the internet who do not know the intricacies of this situation. You are 16. Trials like these are a part of developing into adulthood. I'm sorry you have to go through an extreme version of this. Have a gold on me for being one of the only rational responses to this post. My compliments to your aunt. She is the best. Honestly, yeah, your aunt sounds great. Sorry, your parents are horrible. Sometimes adults are nothing more than teenagers in adult clothing whining about their wants. You can have your parents in your life, as your aunt would suggest, but in the end, it's still up to you. Tell your parents they've put too much hurt into your relationship with them and that it will take much more effort and time to heal and build back that healthy parent-child relationship. Of course, it's still up to you to build that bridge back up, as you can build a relationship if one party is not willing. Hope everything goes fine and show your appreciation to your aunt. And congrats on the writing contest. Your parents made their bed. Now they need to lay on it. When people remarry and have kids with other partners, their previous kids don't suddenly start being their kids. To add on, if you don't want to have a relationship with them, just don't. There's no right or wrong on that one. You felt betrayed and basically a burden. If you do want a relationship with them later on, that's all up to you. Don't feel pressured. Next story. I'm 21 years old and just found out that my entire family was planning a big vacation. Guess how I found out? They told me because they needed someone to stay back and take care of our pet. Yeah, that's right. They were all getting ready to go have fun and I was just supposed to be at home, like some kind of pet sitter. Now, I should tell you that my brothers and sisters still live at our old house. And lately, I've been kind of doing my own thing. I haven't been around much. But finding out I was left out of the family trip made me feel super lonely and sad, like there was this big hole inside me. Even though I tried to act cool and like it didn't bother me, it really did. When they were all piling into the car to head to the airport, I just couldn't hold back the tears. My mom saw how upset I was, and they all started saying how much they loved me. The last time we all went on a trip together, I was about 13 years old. I was so upset that I started getting stomach cramps from crying so hard. I decided to send them a message to let them know how much it hurt to be left behind, hoping they'd understand. But the response I got made things worse. They told me I was ruining their vacation with my message and that I should just deal with it. They thought I wanted some time to myself. Looking back, I guess it wasn't the best timing to bring up how I was feeling right at the start of their holiday. I'm already feeling super left out because my family went on a vacation without me, right? And then they start sending me these pictures of them having the time of their lives. It's like all the sad and lonely feelings I've been trying to keep hidden just burst out. I've never felt so left behind before. It's like I'm not even part of the family anymore. Here I am, stuck at home looking after our pet, while they're off somewhere having fun together. It feels like my heart's been ripped out. Now I've come up with a plan. I'm thinking of leaving the pet with one of our relatives so I can head back to university. My hope is that by throwing myself into my studies, I can try to forget about how hurt I am right now. But man, how do I even start to forgive them for making me feel this way? Has anyone else ever gone through something like this? Edit. It's not like I wanted a free trip or anything. Seriously, I would have totally been okay with paying for my own stuff. The real issue here is about them, my whole family, deciding to go on this awesome family vacation and not even asking me if I wanted to come along. They even took my 19-year-old brother, and get this, he didn't even want to go. He was all like, I'd rather stay home and play video games. But there they are, having a blast. The entire family together. They said they took my brother because they wanted it to be a family trip, which kind of stings because it's like they're saying I'm not part of the family or something. Like, if it was just my sister going, I get it, maybe it's a sibling thing. But since it was everyone, it feels really bad being the only one left out. Now for their top advice. Did they tell you about the vacation before asking if you can watch the pet after? After? Have you asked them why you weren't included in the vacation? They thought I had other stuff to do. They also said they really thought I would be so happy being all alone in the house with my significant other. I don't understand why they thought that, because we lived together at uni. When I found out about it, they had already booked the tickets and hotel, so I had no chance of even rearranging my summer planning. Not that I had anything planned those dates anyway. We have a relative that wanted to care for the pad and could have all these dates. My plan right now is to leave the pet with a relative and go back to uni and dive into school to forget. Good plan. And if other family are around, it makes it a real WCF that OP's family didn't do that in the first place. Sorry, Up. My family did similar things when I was your age. I think it came from my mom's deep resentment about my being out of the house and independent. Let me ask, do your parents ever make nasty comments about how you're selfish for going off to college? Do they ever claim that you don't care about them? And then you have to scramble to prove that you're not a bad child for having an independent adult life? When I was a little younger than you, my grandmother, who I was very close to, was hospitalized. They didn't even tell me she was in the hospital and never apologized for keeping me out of the loop because it was my fault for leaving the family by going off to school. My parents had very skewed priorities, and my mom in particular tried to make me dependent on her and shamed me, if I seemed too independent in her eyes. Hopefully this doesn't ring a bell for you, but if it does, then they might have excluded you from the vacation as a way of manipulating you into feeling like you're an outsider to the family. If they can succeed in that, then they can make you feel like you need to grovel and beg to be included again. Edit. It's pretty cool how everyone shared their thoughts and gave me different ways to look at things. It's like a light bulb went off in my head, and I realized my feelings aren't just me overreacting. They're real and they matter. I've decided the best move is to sit down with my family and talk things out calmly. I want to let them know how left out I felt, but do it in a way that's peaceful, not starting a big drama. And you know what? Reading how many of you have been in the same boat, feeling left out and all, really tugged at my heartstrings. It's sad, but also kind of comforting to know I'm not alone in this. Big hugs to every single one of you who's gone through something similar. Being left out is the worst feeling ever. Seriously. Edit 2. I've been doing some thinking, especially after seeing what a bunch of people said about how, once you're an adult, you don't always get to go on family trips. This got me thinking that maybe this whole mix-up happened because of a bit of a misunderstanding. See, my mom might have thought that because I'm grown up, I've got my own stuff going on, maybe even my own little family, and that I wouldn't be all that bummed if they went on a trip without inviting me. But here's the thing. I want to shout out to everyone, especially to parents. Just because your kid heads off to college or starts doing their own thing doesn't mean they suddenly stop needing their family. Being away from home can be super tough. I know I really missed my family a ton. Getting invited to go on a family trip isn't just about the vacation. It's a big chance to hang out and spend some quality time together. It's super important to make sure nobody feels left out. Remember, just because someone starts their own family or life doesn't mean they're not part of the original one anymore. Let's make sure everyone feels included, okay? Now for the last story update. Pretty much everyone around me keeps saying my brother Tate is the superstar of the family. I'm talking about everyone. Our parents, all our relatives like cousins, aunts, and uncles, even the teachers at school. And to top it off, my own friends join in too. This whole Tate is better thing started when I was just 5 years old, and guess what? It hasn't stopped. The craziest part? My brother, Tate, has never once acted like he believes any of this stuff. He's never made me feel less than, which is why he's pretty awesome in my book. But here's the deal. Every time I look at Tate, I don't just see my brother. I see this giant reminder of everything I think I can't be. And the funny thing? It's not like he's out there winning Nobel Prizes or anything. He's still living at home with our folks. But for some reason, everyone acts like he's the golden child, which leaves me feeling like I'm, well, not. This whole situation has knocked my confidence down to zero. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm just going to end up failing. So, most of the time, I don't even try. Why bother, right? It's like there's this voice in my head that's constantly telling me I won't ever measure up. Imagine waking up every day to this invisible scoreboard where you're always a few points behind no matter what. That's pretty much my life. For 15 whole years, nearly every day, people around me have been making jokes or comments suggesting my brother is somehow better than me. They usually say it with a laugh, so every time they do, I try to show them I'm not okay with it. I don't laugh along. Or maybe I'll give them a look that says, not cool. But the only two people who have never joined in on this are my cousin and my brother, which honestly means a lot to me. There was this one time when my dad actually said out loud that sometimes he feels like he loves that cousin more than he loves me or my brother. Can you imagine hearing that from your own dad? Sure, he tried to walk it back a bit by saying, not more, just close to it, after he saw how hurtful it was. But that doesn't really make it better, does it? All these comments, these jokes, they've been weighing on me, making me feel pretty low. And it feels like I'm carrying all this heaviness inside without anyone to really talk to about it. Just packing up and starting fresh somewhere else isn't an option for me right now, so I'm stuck feeling this way and not sure how to make it better. Now for the top advice before reading the update. My mother is especially horrible about this with me, 32 female and my older brother, and always has been my entire life. She often comments to people that daughter is smart. Sure, but she has to work hard. Son is naturally brilliant, doesn't have to make an effort. This was last said at my son's birthday party to his friend's mother, who will never even know my brother. So, just to take a stab at me. We were at a family gathering once, and a friend commented on how I had grown into a beautiful woman. And my mother's response was, if you think she's pretty, wait till you see my son. He's beautiful. I relate to this post very much, and I know therapy is thrown around on this sub a lot, but I would be lying if I didn't say therapy helped me overcome so much pain from this type of parenting. I highly recommend it, and I am sending you a hug. I know how painful this can be. You should play the same card when describing parenting roles to other people in front of her. Oh, you think she was a good parent? You should have met my dad. Now, that's a role model. Are you no longer living with your parents? Ghost everybody. Man, go cold turkey. You can make it in life. You just need to work hard and go through the pain of growth. There will be times that you feel like you are hopeless and you want to give up. My advice is, do not give up on yourself. Once you reach that point of like everything seems to be crashing down, power through it, tough it up, and overcome those obstacles. You will be a much stronger person after going through those tough times. Mental strength is the best strength a person can have. It gives you stability and increase your awareness and makes you think more rationally. Right now, you are going through a very tough time, mentally and emotionally. Power through it, my friend. Concentrate on your own growth and happiness. Read lots of books in your field of interest. Go for long walks or runs. Even better, go biking. Be alone with your thoughts. Meditate. Always psych yourself up. If you are interested, I can message you a link to a YouTube channel I watch that motivates me as a man. I don't know if I can do all these things. I'm in college, so I don't know how I'll survive without their help. And now for the update. Hey everyone! First off, a huge thanks to all of you. The pep talk and encouragement were exactly what I needed to take the reins of my situation. I'm really sorry I couldn't get back to each of you personally. A bunch has been going on. So, here's what happened this morning, right before my dad and brother had to head off to their jobs. My dad, kind of out of the blue, goes, "Your brother's already landed a job. When are you planning on getting one?" Now keep in mind, I'm swamped with college work because I'm in the thick of studying pretty much all the time. When he dropped that comment, it really got under my skin. But here's the thing. Armed with the boost of confidence you all gave me, I actually stood up for myself. I told him straight up that I'm not okay with the way they've been treating me. And guess what he says? He tells me he was just joking, and then drops this bomb that I'm still too young and he can't take me seriously. So here's what went down. I reached my limit and basically told my dad, "Forget this, I'm out," and started to pack my bags. He wasn't having any of it and tried to physically stop me, saying I wasn't allowed to leave. When things escalated and he started to get rough, I stood my ground, telling him he doesn't have the right to control my life like that. He even threatened that if I walked out, I'd be cutting ties with my family for good. In the heat of the moment, he looked like he was about to throw a punch at me, but my brother jumped in just in time, pulling him away and giving me a chance to breathe. They ended up having a major shouting match in another room while I quickly grabbed my things and left for a friend's place, not really knowing where else to go. My friend was a total lifesaver, skipping work just to make sure I wasn't alone in case things took a worse turn. He's told me I can crash with him for as long as I need to. All of this chaos unfolded in just a few hours, and it's left me feeling pretty shaken up. I'm even considering getting a restraining order because I'm not about to let myself be pushed around again. My phone's been blowing up with calls from my mom, but I just can't bring myself to answer. After today, I feel like I'm just done with them. I'm really hoping things don't escalate further from here. Update 2. So here's the latest update. I got in touch with my brother because there were some important papers I needed from him. We decided to meet up so he could hand them over. When we saw each other, we did chat for a bit. During our talk, he dropped a pretty big bombshell on me. He said that our parents don't want to see me again. Honestly, I was kind of okay with it, which might sound weird, but that's where I'm at. My brother also said that if I ever need anything, I should just give him a call. But between you and me, I don't really see that happening anytime soon. For now, I'm crashing with my buddy. The plan is to stay there till all this virus chaos blows over, and I can find my own place. He's been super cool about it, saying he's got my back for a month or two until I start getting my paychecks. After that, I'll need to chip in, which is totally fair. Oh, and guess what? I managed to land a job. It's not exactly the dream gig, and the pay isn't amazing, but considering everything that's going on, I'm not in a position to be picky. Looks like this is it, the start of my adult life for real. Now for the closing comments. At least you got a supportive brother with you on this new journey. Work hard and be super successful to the point where your entire family regrets putting you down. That's the best revenge. Would love a final update in the near future. Living well is the best revenge. Good luck out there. Call your brother. He wants your success and will help raise you up. Stay in contact with your brother. He didn't do anything wrong. Screw your parents, though. You will regret it in the future if you abandon your brother. I promise you this. It's not the brother's fault that the parents have deemed him the golden child. Not only that, but he's actively helping Opie and seems to be completely supportive. Hold on to him. I cut and ran when I was 17 with nothing and a baby to escape the hell of my family. You're going to be all right, man. Edit. I've been seeing a bunch of people telling me that I should make sure to keep talking to my brother, right? Well, let me set the record straight. There's no way I'm ever going to just stop talking to my brother. He's my bro and I love him a ton. He's always been there for me like a rock. No matter what crazy stuff I've gotten into or what decisions I've made, he's had my back through it all. Right now, he's pretty much the most important person in my world. When I mentioned before that I might not call him, I didn't mean I was cutting him off or anything like that. What I actually meant was that I'm not planning to lean on him every time I hit a rough patch. I've made up my mind to tackle things on my own, to figure stuff out by myself. It's not about not wanting to talk to him. It's about wanting to stand on my own 2 feet for a bit. For sure, keeping in touch with my brother is something I plan on doing, no matter how things go. I've also noticed a few folks think I might have overreacted to the whole situation with my dad. But here's the deal. My dad was literally about to throw a punch at me. It was super intense, and if my brother hadn't been there to step in, I'm pretty sure things would have gone south really fast. That's why I knew I had to get out of there. And about the job thing, it's not like I was against the idea of working. I've actually been on the lookout for a job that fits with my schedule, especially one that makes sense for me. But with the whole virus situation messing things up, finding a job hasn't been easy. My dad knew all about my job hunt and how the virus was making it tough, but he still chose to make jokes about it. Not cool. Anyway, I really appreciate everyone who took the time to leave supportive comments, and even those who offered some tough love or critical points of view. It all helps me think through things and figure out my next steps.